So the latest commitment of traders, or COT figures, are in out of the CFTC, bit delayed due to the holidays, but they are in now. And as a general rule, throughout 2019, they've been holding a heavy to extreme long bias in the US dollar and pretty much heavy short everything else. So if we look at the US dollar index, they continue to remain heavy long, up to buy slightly. But if we want to break down and look at each of the components, each of the FX majors, the exception where they were holding majority long bias was the Canadian dollar. Now, we do have a new one, and that's the pound. They've shifted to a majority long, slight majority long, 53%. We haven't seen this sort of bias in terms of majority long and percentage. We haven't seen this since April, May of last year. So there was a brief moment this year where 1 week where they shifted to a slight majority long around 50.5%, but since then it's been majority short, and that's kind of the bias. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is just a one-off or whether it's going to persist and be a more consistent majority long bias as we start 2020. Well, what about the remaining FX majors? Still majority short euro. When it comes to safe haven yen and franc, moves have not been in their favor because the dollar's been weakening over the last few days, so they've been getting hit in yen and franc. They've done okay with the Canadian dollar, but the bias has dropped. It's only a slight majority long, 54%, and the Australian dollar, they remain heavy short, hasn't been going in their favor. What about, however, commodities? In this case, it has been going in their favor. We look at gold and silver, they remain extreme long in gold at 89%, and in silver, they've been upping that bias. Silver has been outperforming compared to gold, but you can see in this case, this definitely has been something in their favor, as well as that of retail traders, for those of you who watched the retail rundown video, where they're also holding heavy to extreme long bias in gold and silver. Oil, extreme long at 89%. Last but not least, in indices, there was a brief moment we thought that maybe in NASDAQ they might shift to majority short, but they remain in majority long territories, a bit moderate at around 56%, whereas in the case of the Dow, although they were extreme long in 2019, they've kind of reduced that bias and they remain only at a heavy long 70%. Well, that's the last video of 2019. Happy New Year's from all of us here at IG, and if you plan to trade it, happy ticks.